Hello,
Rochelle is
everybody. What's she doing?
she's looking for a cool part of the house.
I am. Sorry.
Rochelle's hot. Not that sort of hot.
So hot.
Hot. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. If I'm honest, I'm just not moving. I had to take out. So I've got 2 hot water bottles frozen.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so I normally sleep with 2. Last night I had to sleep with 1 because I had to sit with one the whole of yesterday and it just melted because it was so hot. Like I was just like, I can't. So yeah, so I'm not moving. And I'm hoping that I don't sweat during this topic. Hello ladies, how are we?
Great, thank you. Apart from being hot, I'm now going to open my window. Actually,
Well, you do what you need to do to make yourself feel comfortable.
Chaos.
So we have got the incredible EJ McDougall. We don't normally do introductions, but we should. So we've got EJ McDougall, magistrate, HR partner, TEDx speaker.
Yay!
You know, multifaceted speaker, mom, girlfriend. Well, what other titles have you got?
Daughter.
And we've also got the incredible Rochelle Gilburn.
Hello.
Currently mom and auntie, currently babysitter extraordinaire for 4 kids.
Wow.
It's hilarious to watch. It's hilarious to witness. But yeah, so she's looking after her kids and nephew and niece over the summer holidays. Property developer. Are you a property developer? Property expert?
Well,
property expert. Property expert.
I would say. I mean, I wouldn't class myself as a developer as such.
No.
I feel like developers do much bigger projects, but we've renovated like 45 properties over the last 4 years. So some people would call that a developer.
Yeah, so property
And
expert.
Yeah.
And what else are you? And also LinkedIn expert. God, there's a lot
LinkedIn
there.
expert.
Am I still there?
Yeah, LinkedIn expert.
LinkedIn expert.
So, and just overall incredible human. Do you know what? So it's like it's so funny. We're talking about friendships today, and I just want to openly say thanks to Rochelle because yesterday I was just sat there in the heat finishing my slides, and we're trying to get 30 people onto the masterclass. And I think we're like 29. And she sent me a message going, can you get it to 30? And I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm literally just finishing these slides. And I'm like, literally, I didn't say I'm done, but the message indicated that I was just like, I'm just doing what I need to do. And she went and she shared everything for me. And and I think now we've even got to more than 30. There's more people that have signed up.
Well, because of work yesterday, I didn't have space, but I'm signing up today, so that will be a bit more than 30.
Yes.
Plus
yes, we've got 33 so far and stuff.
We
had about 7 or 8 people turn up, but we've had some really good feedback, and we've had feedback from people who've watched it who didn't attend and they really enjoyed it. So if you didn't watch Own the Room, my networking masterclass, is free for now. You want to grab it, it's amazing. But thanks, Rochelle.
No problem.
You're amazing. What else do I want to say? What else I want to say? So I'm just making sure that I'm just getting everything up and about. Right. So friendships. EJ, do you want to tell us why you chose this topic?
Yeah, because I am in my feelings today, and I think I'm going to allow myself mourn the end. I'm going to grieve over some friendships today. And not in a bad way. It's more like because I'll tell you why I chose the topic. I was saying to the ladies earlier that I came across somebody's name today and it jarred me. It really made me feel, where is she? You know, she used to be such a big part of my life and now she's not. We didn't fall out, no words exchanged, the last time I saw her years and years ago was all hugs and kisses. And then somehow life, she's got married, had children. I've done the same with I moved to another country.
Are you breaking up?
Oh, I thought it was me.
Looks like I'm back. Am I
Yeah,
back?
you're breaking up, but you were doing so well. So she's married, she's got kids.
Yeah, it's gone off again.
All right, we're here.
Okay, sure. So yeah, and I just, there's been several friendships in my life that have come and gone.
Yeah, I can definitely relate with that. And so, can you, Rochelle?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So today I just was wondering,
Go on, EJ.
I think my internet signal's awful, and EJ says this is what happens when you got the kids at home. 1 sec.
Oh yeah, because it's multi Wi-Fi usage, isn't it? Because the kids are off, and I bet they're all on
everybody's
YouTube
multitasking
as well.
Today.
Yeah, they bet they're all on YouTube. So
yes, I think that's what's happening. That's what's happening here too.
Do you know what I love about the panel is it's so real. It's like you guys, especially the moms and stuff. It's hilarious. It's like you're all banging about and stuff like.
It's so unscripted.
That's what we should call it. To be fair, we should call it unscripted.
Oh, that's a good name. I like that.
Yeah, unscripted. And so I just don't. I think somebody else has got it. But yeah. So yeah, EJ. So you were saying you're in your feelings, and it was making you feel a kind of way, as the kids say these days.
Yeah, a bit sad. I was on the verge of internalizing it and making it about me and how, or maybe it's my personality, maybe it's something I did that I wasn't aware of, maybe I've offended, but then I had to stop myself and think, no, maybe it's not me, maybe it's just life, maybe the season that we were meant to travel this life together has come to an end. And that's okay. Our journeys have gone like this, and that's absolutely fine. It doesn't mean anybody's done anything wrong, or it doesn't need to now start giving me a complex.
No. Rochelle, what's your take on it, or what's your
impact? The type of person that I am, I've always had loads and loads of friends. So I'd become friends with this group, and then I'd also be friends with this group, and I'd be friends with this group. So I'd spend a little bit of time with them, and a little bit of time with them, and a little bit of time with them. And I'd see all them getting closer together, and me sort of being on the outside, someone that they liked, and they liked being part of the group, but someone who wasn't fully integrated into this group. So, and I see the same actually. Both my kids are very similar. It's that we just love people and love everyone and want to be friends with everyone. But when it, like, in reality, especially as an adult, you've not got time to be friends with everyone. And so the people that I'm friends with now, I love very dearly, but at the same time, there's some other people that have slipped through the net very accidentally when life's gone separate ways. Like, I made some amazing friends when I was at uni in Birmingham, and I was only at uni in Birmingham for a year, and I lived with some of them. I went out every night with some of them, but then as they continued on at uni in Birmingham and I moved over to Sheffield, I lost contact with them. And I'm still friends with them on Facebook. And I think this is the great thing about the modern world. I know that they're doing well, but that almost takes away the need to then be checking in on people, because you're like, oh, well, I know that person's had a baby. I've congratulated them on Facebook. Like, I know that person's got married. I've said congratulations. So now you don't need to be phoning people and checking in on them, because you're seeing how they're doing in the regular updates on social media. So in some ways it's a good thing, and then in some ways it's a bad thing, because we're not having to make that same effort what we had to make in the past.
Yeah, it's interesting because again, I love people, so when I meet people, I'm very high, and some people you'll attract more than others. But I also believe that there comes a time when maybe people will look at each other and we're going to mute you on that one. There you go.
I was confused then. I was like, who's this other person
I
joining
know.
me?
I was like, does anybody else have this link? No, they don't. Yeah, but yeah, I think it gets to a point where I think either they or you reevaluate and go, do we still have the same values? And I don't think it's about anything being wrong. I think sometimes you just have to prioritize things in your life. I'm a huge outer reacher. Like, I value my friendships so much. I just do. But I also, so I, you know, I still have a friend. She's amazing. Like, we've been friends since we're like 21, and up until probably about 49. So what, 3 years ago, we used to speak pretty much every day, but my business became all consuming and I was struggling with it and everything else. And I was like, I can't. And I actually had to have the conversation because, and even that, I know was really difficult for her. And it was difficult for me because even though I had the conversation, said I can't be there every day anymore.
Yeah.
It was like a bereavement.
Yes.
You know, it was like a bereavement. And when it's weird because we're not as close and it's heartbreaking. We still do talk, and to be fair, like, we speak maybe every couple of months or so, but it's really difficult, and and in a way it feels a bit weird because this is somebody that we used to speak, like, she's an outer reacher, I'm an outer reacher, so it was never one or the other, it was just both of us. We're just always really close, but we talk about anything. We talk about, oh, she's gone to Sainsbury's. We talk about, oh, you know, I know, but it was, we just, both of us never had kids, and I think it's a different dynamic as well. So I think, because I think if either of us had kids, I think it would have been a different dynamic as well. Like, one of us would have wandered off a lot sooner. But I think kids do sort of like prioritize things as well, because all of a sudden you've got to look after kids. They've got activities, blah blah blah. So we drifted. But I've got other friends who I do love dearly, and the good thing about being an intuit is I can sense when people move away. I can feel it. It is the most bizarre feeling. So, and sometimes they move away before even they know they're moving away. So it's like I can feel it, and I go, oh, I've just felt that happen. But then it'll take maybe another 6 to 8 months for it to materialize, where they're moving away. But here's another thing I want to say as well before I pass it on. I pray every day, and one of my biggest prayers is that God removes whoever doesn't need to be in my life.
Oh.
That He removes who does not need to be in my life. And it's not about them being not so good people, but if somebody doesn't need to be in my life energetically, intentionally, you know what I mean? Like, it could just be that they're just not great for me right now, or it could be that they just don't mean me well. Whatever that is, take them away. And what I find, and it's happened a few times, but like recently, it's happened a couple of times, and I promise you, it's always bang on. Always bang on. And it never makes sense, because it could be that they don't reciprocate. It could, but it's always bang on when they leave. So to EJ, I wouldn't say, I get that you mourn it, and I think the grief is real. I believe the grief is real, but I don't believe it's down to anything that you've done. And to be honest with you, in this case, I actually believe that it's almost like she's not even thought about it. Almost like she hasn't thought about you, if that makes sense. Almost like,
yeah,
I've got this stuff and what have you. And then Rochelle says this a lot, because she's not an outer reacher. And she says, you know, sometimes I can not call someone, and then it becomes awkward to call them. Even though I call them, it's like, what do I say? Do I want to have that conversation?
So much sense to me. Yeah.
And then also it'll be like, I'll think of someone, like I've got a couple of people who are popping into my head now, and I'm thinking I must message those people, but then you forget, and then you think about it again, and it's the middle of the night, and then And before you know it, months have passed, years have passed,
Yes.
and you've not reached out to this person. And like, I find my closest friends, like you, Victoria, because you're so good at keeping in contact. If it wasn't for you, not because I didn't want to be friends with you, but there's no way we would have the relationship now, because I'd have just like, I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm not very good at being a friend.
Yeah. You are, but I think, do you know what? I think we need to be kinder to ourselves. I don't think it's like, because I think that you show up for me way more than I show up for you, but I feel like I think I think in friendships we need to understand that we also have a love language.
Yes.
So it's like with Rochelle, for example, Rochelle is her love language is very much uh, acts of service. Like it's very much, I can see that it's very much acts of service. Like she'll ring me and go, I thought about you, thinking of this. She'll just do stuff like when I don't need to. She's amazing at doing stuff without me asking. It's just done. And it just, meanwhile, for me, it's quality time and stuff. So, and that's okay, because you don't have to have the same friendship love language for you to be friends. And I think it's understanding what that love language is. Like my friend Nish, her and I, it's very much quality time. So when I sort of like step back and went, I need to just focus on this, it hurt both of us, because we're not quality, we're not what's the word? We're not acts of service people, we're not gift people. We're very much sort of like get on the phone, have a bit of a natter. Sometimes it could be 2 minutes, sometimes it could be 1 hour. Either way, we feel fulfilled from that. And so I don't think it's about not being a good friend. I think it's understanding what that friendship language is, and if that person means, it's not about even means a lot to you. If you really want to and stuff, you can hang on to people longer in a good way than not. But sometimes I feel like it's okay to let people go and wish them well with love and stuff. It's like, and I'll tell you one thing, I'll never beg for a friend, never. Like if somebody's leaving, I'll never try and entice them back and stuff. I'll always be polite. I'll always be sort of like, and guess what? But I'm always that person with who, no matter how you leave, if there's something wrong, I'll always be there. So I believe that I'm a friend for life. Like if I know that even though we've not spoken for 10 years, if I hear there's something wrong, I'll be the first to reach out and go, are you okay?
Yeah. I think that's quite an important point you make about the love languages. What does this friend need from me, sort of thing. There are people in my world who don't know that I think about them every single day, but I've just not got around to reaching out yet. It's the same as you said, Rochelle. By the time I'm thinking, right, I'm going to reach out, it's 2:00 in the morning, and I don't want them to think I'm a psycho. So then I leave it. And then the next day, they're on my mind again. And I'm thinking about them every single day. And before you know it, it's been 6 months, 7 months. And they just think, oh, I'll just leave it. But then there's also the thing of, a lot of people reach out to me in my inbox and they share some really, really personal stuff with me, which before now would become my world. I would be so consumed by somebody else's emergency, somebody else's urgent situation, and I would go all out. And now I'm learning, I've stopped doing that, because maybe that's not why they're telling me, you know? And some people share some really deep stuff with me and we have the conversation there and then, but I'm too scared to go back and ask, how are things now? Because I don't want them to think like I'm prying. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. If someone has come to my inbox, and I get this a lot, because I was very vocal about my marriage breaking down. And I have women who come into my inbox to say, gosh, you're so brave to share this. I'm going through this. My husband at the moment is a monster. He's a this, he's a that. And we have that conversation. And the very next post is, oh, the love of my life. I don't know. Then I will never come back to ask you, because I don't want you to feel awkward. You know, I don't want you to feel weird that you shared something so personal, but your public life is so different, you know? So there's so many reasons why I wouldn't reach out. And I think that's why I was internalizing it. Maybe some of the people that are no longer in my world, maybe it's because they expected more from me. Maybe they expected more and I was not confident enough to go further, or I was I don't know what it is, but like you say, I am trying so hard not to make it about me, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you need to, EJ, I think you need to look at it and look at the difference between friendships and people that are called clients. Because if somebody shares, if you share something and then somebody just reaches out and says, "Oh, by the way, I'm sharing," it's about protecting your energy as well. Because people like that, it's not necessarily about the friendship; it's that they're sharing a story and stuff, and that's why charging for stuff like that is very important, because then you control and you put boundaries in. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's not necessarily a friendship conversation. Then it's like, it's almost like somebody wanting coaching almost and stuff like that. They want some form of support. But I feel like so here's my thing about friendship, and I say it to my mom a lot. I'll say to my mom, "Have you spoken to this person?" "Oh yeah, I'll call them." "You're going to speak to this person?" "Yeah, I'll call them." And I say to my mom, I'm like, when they die, because a lot of them are around that age anyway, I'm like, when they die, don't be crying and saying you wish you'd known. And here's my thing: I never ever want to think of somebody after they've left and think, I wish I'd made more of an effort. And my whole thing is, if you want to reach out to someone, reach out to them. It doesn't really matter, because first and foremost, you don't know where they are, what country they're in, if they pick it up, if they don't pick it up. Some people won't respond, some people will respond. Even when you're not messaging, it's thinking about you. That's my take on it. I sent a message years ago I did an exercise, and it was something that just came to me. And since then, I've seen other people do something similar. I just sent a message out to about 20 friends or 20 people who I knew. And they were friends, but they weren't all close friends. And I sent them all a message, and I thanked each and every one of them for being in my life. And I told them what they all brought to me. And I did a voice note, and all of them messaged me saying, I'm crying. Like, it was so unexpected. And it was just, do you know what I mean? It was so unexpected and stuff. So I can't tell anybody how friendship is, but I'm one of those people where life is so short, and I would never want anybody to leave this world, if I cared about them, not to know how I feel about them.
Yeah, I think what you're really good at as well, Victoria, is like taking that friendship to the next level. So going from being those acquaintances and bringing them into your world as friends that actually like talk to each other regularly, actually do things in the real world together. And that's something that like I've never been good at doing that. There's people that I want to be friends with, and it's that like I'd never. One of my friends, she's really good. Like, she'll invite people around for food. Like, she'll invite her neighbours around, and they'll do things together. Like, my neighbours are lovely, but I've never thought I'll invite them around for tea. Like, that's just not.
I wouldn't invite my neighbours around either. Don't worry, and they're lovely as well. But it's sorry, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's it. I think some people are just naturally good at building those friendships and nurturing them really well and holding on to them, and other people are not good at that. And like everything in life, we've all got our strengths and weaknesses. I think the thing for people like you, EJ, who are you're experiencing this grief towards this friendship, I don't think, like, there will be some people who intentionally lose contact with people and stop getting in touch, but a lot of it is, like you say, it's just accidental life, busyness, not that they don't love you or think of you anymore. One good example I've got is one of my longest friends. So I was like best friends with her from being about 3 all the way through primary and secondary school. And then when she went off to college, and I went 6th form, we just like drifted apart and didn't speak. And then I bumped into her one day when I was about 24, and we got talking again. And then I got married when I was 25 and 26 when I got married, and she was one of my bridesmaids, because even though we'd not been in contact for nearly 10 years after leaving school, she was still one of my, like, somebody that I love deeply on a deeper level than just being a friend. She's you know, spent a huge part of my life with me, and now we see each other maybe a couple, 3 times a year. We're not constantly messaging or anything like that, but we've still got that love for each other.
Yeah. Do you know what though? It's like I do think that a lot of friends are seasonal as well. But I tell you how I know that a friendship is going. So I think there's 2 different ways, but several ways. But there's another one where you try and have a conversation and there's nothing to talk about, and or you've got nothing in common. So a lot of people that I went to school with, it's just a whole different background. It's a whole different thing, and whenever we meet, it's normally, oh well, do you remember when we did this at school? Do you remember when we did that at school? I'm like, oh my God, and I crave conversation. I crave like really good conversation. And if I don't get it, I just switch off. So, and there's those where I go, okay, we can't be friends because like there's nothing to talk about, but I'm really honest about it as well. And the same goes with dating as well. It's like, if I can't talk to you about stuff, like if there's not decent conversation, I can't do it. I can't. So some friendships have, if I'm honest, have fallen by the wayside because it's not been stimulating enough. And yeah, it's just interesting when I think about it that, you know, a lot of my friendships have gone because I just think, but also I'm so loyal. Loyalty to me is huge, like huge, massive. It is. And if you ask me to even describe what that means, I couldn't tell you, but it's like, if I feel it slipping, if I feel it slipping, days are numbered. And I've pulled the plug out of at least a couple of friendships where I've gone, nah.
Yeah.
I've just gone.
See, that it's really interesting that both you find it easy to like build friendships and become friends with someone, but you also find it quite easy to cut friendships, whereas I'm not like that. Like, there was one person who, you know, who I was friends with for quite a while after I didn't want to be friends with them anymore because they weren't a nice person. Like, all they did was talk about other people. They constantly wanted gossip, and I'm not a gossip. And it was the most difficult thing trying to withdraw myself from this friendship when like they kept going like, come back, like pulling me back in when I was trying to escape. And I hate uncomfortable conversations and
like
confrontation or anything like that, so I actively avoid it. So I'm like, even if I didn't want to be your friend, I'd be your friend because I don't want to tell you that I don't want to be your friend anymore.
That's why she's my friend. She hasn't got a choice.
That's the reason. She don't let me escape.
She's tied up in a cage. She's only been let out to come and do this podcast, and then she goes back in again. No, yeah, I think. Do you know what it is? I think it's about learning how you want to be treated. And I think the loyalty isn't about you do what I do or blah blah. It's about how you want to be treated. And when I see gaps in that, you know, it's like how people talk to you, how people treat you and stuff, what they want from you. Is that whole thing where, and when you look at it and it's more take than give, or when you're being used for a particular reason, you know, it's like it could be anything, but you see it and you go, yeah, nah.
Yeah.
You go, yeah, nah. And again, respect as well. It's the fact that I know that with my friends, I hugely respect them, and I'll sing their praises wherever. And I funnily enough, I recently was aware, you know, that somebody I considered a friend, sort of like, I won't say they said something that wasn't complimentary. It wasn't like massive, but it was enough to go, oh, that person doesn't have my back. Does that make sense and stuff? And to me, that's enough. Because I'm like, I don't mind you to critique what I'm doing or critique who I am, but or critique how I behave or whatever and stuff. But if that's how you're spoken about when you leave a room, or that's what somebody says, that says a lot.
Yeah.
There's a huge lot, and that's okay, and that's okay. But there's 8 billion people in the world, and you're not meant to be friends with 8 billion of them. So it's always quality over quantity for me.
Yeah, there is also that aspect of, I think, people like me, and I suppose to an extent each of us in a certain way, except you, Victoria. Actually, I think me and Rochelle. I think there is the element of being a people pleaser as well, and not being able to have those conversations, not being able to pull away because, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult. I think
painful.
for me, yeah, for me personally, the work that I've had to do, because I've come from a lot of friends to not many, and I feel like it's time to delve back into building friendships again. And the work that I've had to do is build myself up to the point where my expectations really are quite low. Because I be this person who, because I know how far I would go for you, because I know what I'll do for you, then I expect that you would do the same for me. But life doesn't work that way. And then when you don't do the same for me, I end up being quite hurt. I'm a very deep feeling kind of person. So the last few years I've sort of withdrawn from deep relationships like that, because there's a lot of healing that I've had to do. Not because those people were wrong, but I suppose because my expectation was wrong. And I've had to build myself to be enough for me, so that anybody who comes into my life is a bonus rather than a necessity, so that there is nothing in other people that I'm not able to get from myself, really. So there is that element to it where, you know, for your friendships to be healthy, it has to be two complete human beings rather than people who are codependent, you know.
See, I used to be a people pleaser, and I think she still comes out and wants to join in. Hi, flying high with chairs. Hope you well. Yeah, I mean, I used to be that person who would go everywhere. I'd go to the opening of an envelope. I used to be like that when I was younger, and I think sometimes people, and when I join new communities, I will do that because I want to check everything out. People mistake that though as being lenient and stupid and available and stuff, and having no boundaries. And when you start setting up your boundaries, people don't like it and stuff, because, you know, like I was talking to somebody yesterday, and my it was actually on the networking masterclass, and I said something like, I decided what events I was going to attend last year. Like, I knew that I was going to cut down on a lot of the ones that I'd been to and only choose a few, because I wanted to move away from certain spaces, not for any other reason than they just don't align with me. And I think when you're a people pleaser, you need to be really strict with how do people treat you. So the way I look at it is, if a friend's gonna treat me in a certain way and I won't put up with it, then I definitely won't allow it in a guy, and vice versa. And a lot of women will allow the guy to treat them more anyhow, and then sort of like restrict their friends from doing it. Nah, I'm very much, it goes across the board. I would never treat you like that. Don't treat me like that. But I tell you what, if you want to treat me like that and you want to feel the same treatment, oh, it hurts when it comes from me. And I'm really honest with it. Yeah, because I can be. You know what I mean? Like, I can, like, I'm not mean because I don't know how to be mean. I'm not mean because I choose not to be mean.
Yeah.
And I think there's a difference and stuff. So I, you know, when I smile, when I laugh, when I'm caring, it's because I choose to be that. But it's like everybody, right? Everybody's got a great side to them and a not so great side to them. But it's a choice on what you want to share. And I want to ask you this question, actually, ladies. So one thing that I've noticed in a lot of friendship groups is that, especially in the business world, I find that a lot of friendships navigate towards how successful people think you are. So I know, for example, that everybody wants to be Tony Robbins' friend. Does that make sense? So I remember years ago having a meeting with somebody, and we had to have this call. And this person was in Tony Robbins' world, and we were meant to have a call, and we booked it. It was a meeting, and they never turned up. And then a few weeks later, they sent me a message apologizing that they hadn't made it. And my whole take on that is that if it was Tony Robbins who'd called you, you'd have picked up that phone straight away.
Yeah.
Have you experienced that? Not just in the business. I've seen it in the business world a lot, and also the professional world. But in the business world, I've seen it a lot. How have you guys seen it anywhere else, or is it just like?
It's a thing, isn't it? It's the whole high school popular girl syndrome, isn't it? Everybody wants to be affiliated with the most shiny person. And I think that's where weirdos like me come in, because I don't understand it. I don't get it. You know, like I don't have this hero worship. I don't have that nerve in my body. That's why, you know, when like people are falling over themselves for celebrities and stuff, I mean, I appreciate good work. And I appreciate people who are successful, and I appreciate and I acknowledge people who are successful. But do you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say it's it's the Nigerian in me. Every Nigerian believes that our egos are massive.
Yes, they believe that they're the star.
We are the star. So then to bow down to another star is just not in the way it's not possible. So I've grown up that way. I'll give you a very quick example. When I was a child, it's a very long time ago, the Nigerian film industry was still new, and there were not very many actors because it was now, you know, everybody's a Nigerian actor. But my mom and dad were sitting in a hotel lobby, and this very big star at the time was coming down the steps, you know. And Nigerians, if that was in the UK, people would be falling over themselves asking for, you know. And I distinctly remember my father saying, "Don't look at him, don't look at him. I don't know who he thinks he is. Don't look at him, don't even look at him." And that's what we're like. So we can come alongside you to shine together. But for me to mold my life after yours or put down myself, it's just, I don't get it. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not just in business, it's in life, it's in the office, it's in, you know, I don't know how to do it. No.
That's exactly me. It's almost like it's awkward enough building relationships as it is, but trying to do a fake one based on someone being successful. If anything, I'm the opposite. When someone's successful, I feel really like awkward around them. So they probably don't want to be friends with me anyway. But I think like a lot of people, like there's the saying, isn't there, that you become the six people, you are the same basically as the six people you spend the most time with. So if your 5 friends smoke, chances are you smoke. If your 5 friends have got tattoos, chances are you've got a tattoo. So I think that's why a lot of the time in the business world, people are going, right, I need to hang around all these successful people, because if my 5 closest friends are all successful, that means that I'm going to be successful too. And I can understand that. And I think, like you mentioned earlier, Victoria, about the level of conversation when you leave like the normal world into the entrepreneur world, and you start getting interested in mindset and personal development and learning about business, you do have a different style of conversation, and you do, like, whether it's fair to say outgrow, it's more that you change from the person that you used to be in the conversations you used to have to these new, more exciting for us conversations, probably really boring to other people. And then you want to be around more people that talk this way, that are inspiring, that you can look up to. But I hate the thought of, and it has happened to me before actually, where I've thought somebody was my friend, and this is where I put barriers up, and this is why I'm not very good at making friends, because someone's come along, they've acted like they're my friend, they've offered support, we've gone out with the kids, our kids have made friends, and then when there's nothing in it for them anymore, like they no longer reply to my messages, they're no longer asking to meet up, and that hurts. And that's what really hurts, when you know it's for a specific thing. So like there was one woman where it was like she wanted a contract at the company that I worked for. In fact, there were a few people, like when you get into marketing and you've got like people who are in sales, basically. They're selling you spots on the radio, they're selling you spots in the magazines, they want to do your websites for you, and they will become your best friend to try and get that work. And I hate that. It feels so like, it feels like you're being used. It feels dirty. And after, people don't consider what the after effects are of that, like when you no longer work for that company anymore, so they don't want to know you now.
It's interesting you say that. So when I had to step back from my long-term friendship, it was self-preservation. It was nothing to do with what was boring and what was exciting. I could feel myself literally breaking down because my business wasn't going the way I wanted it to go, and I just couldn't. I felt like giving my all to my business was the right thing to do, and I don't regret it. Even though it is painful, I don't regret it. Moving towards the average of the 6 people that you walk, whatever. I can't even remember the phrase because I don't believe in it. Because to me, when I go towards people, I move towards people's personality. I move towards their hearts. I don't move towards how much you're making, how successful you are, what other people think about you. I'm huge on that. It just so happens that when I meet people who have a high profile, I have tapped into the heart of that person. Does that make sense and stuff? So it's never about that they'll get us into certain rooms and everything else. However, I know that there's so many people that believe that hanging around people who have the same ambition or are earning as much and everything else, it never ends well.
Comparison.
I see it break down almost every day, and it is so sad to watch because it never ends well. Because you're not going for the person, you're going for what they've got. You're going for their skills and everything else. It never works.
Not true friendship, is it?
It's not. It's conditional, because as soon as you take away that skill of that person, as soon as you take away their money, as soon as you take away, it all goes.
As soon as you feel like you're not achieving what this person is achieving, or they're not showing you how they've achieved it, it's not true. It's not the heart, is it? It's a functionality, and if that person is not functioning how you believe they should, then it becomes a disaster.
And this is why. So I used to say this when I was younger, not too younger, but I used to say it about when a friend of mine would be chasing a guy, and you go, yeah, but I love him. But he doesn't love you. Yeah, but I love him. And I always used to say, the worst thing is sat on a dinner table after work. You sat at the dinner table and you're all eating, and you look across and you see this man there, and you ask yourself, if you hadn't chased him, would he be there right now? And it's the same with friendships. It's like when you look around, can you honestly say that if you didn't have the skills you had or the success you had, would those friends still be your friends? And if you even have a slight pinch of hesitation, then that itself is a very telling story. And I won't surround myself with people professionally or personally like that. I just won't do it. Like, I'll never have someone who I'd any doubt would be my friend. And it's part of my story that I love it, that I've had really tough times, because I know that the people who are around me want to be around me. And I promise you, there's not that many people. Like when I used to make more 6 figures, I used to have a throng of friends and stuff. So it's probably why I really look after my friendships, because I don't need many, but the few I've got are important. And also another thing I've learned as well is I've learned that I choose my friends, not the other way around, because the friends that have chosen me it's never worked out. because they've always come with an intention. Does that make sense? So it's like when I'm like the first time I met Rochelle, I was like, I knew I was going to be friends with her. First time I met you, Jen, so I knew I was going to be friends with you. It wasn't the other way around. It was always moving toward. It was me moving towards you, and creating that friendship, because I knew that me becoming friends with you, there was no intention than that. I just saw your hearts and thought, these are incredible women that I want to get to know.
That's a good way to see it. That's a good way to see it. That also means you don't have to be friends with everybody that you come across.
See, you don't.
Because there is that pressure, isn't it? You know, female friendships are very important. Whatever female-male friendships are very important. And when you come across people, it's good to be, you know, go deeper if you can. But what you just said there is, I don't have to. I don't have to start feeling guilty that, you know, oh, you know, that didn't quite go well, or, oh, you know, I don't have to. If you're not in alignment, then it's okay to just, you know, not be best friends. So, and that's a mistake I used to make. I mean, I don't make it anymore. Like I said, I sort of I've pulled back a bit, but that was the thing. Gosh, if I've met, I need to keep in touch. Or, you know, like I need to show how nice I am, and then the person is not giving back the same energy, and then I go away feeling like, you know, deflated, because why don't they find me attractive? Why don't they think I'm a good friend to have, and stuff like that? And I like the analogy of the boyfriend thing, the man thing. We're all women we're straight women here, and if you're sitting across the table from somebody that he wouldn't be here if I didn't drag him here, then my God.
That's actually one of the things I always say to Chris. So my biggest fear, I suppose, in our relationship is not that he leaves me, it's that he stays.
Yes.
Even when I don't want him there, and even when he doesn't want to be there anymore. Do you know what I mean? So it's like he's emotionally moved on, but he's here because it's easier for him to stay than it is to leave. And I suppose that can translate into friendships, like what you said earlier, Victoria, about people having like they physically disconnected 8 months or so before they actually physically leave, like that period of time where they no longer want to be there anymore. Like I hate that.
Rather it just
Interesting. Well, that was a great one.
What have we learned today?
What have we learned? I think I've learned. I feel I've learned that other people are experiencing similar stuff that I'm experiencing, just on different levels, and how important friendship is, and also, I tell you what I've learned as well, even though I said it, was that friendships do have love languages, and we need to get to know that. It's almost like, you know, having that conversation, or just paying more attention to someone and going, I wonder what your love language is, because I think friendships could be a lot stronger if we knew what our love languages were. I feel like a lot of people, a lot of us, I'm going to say a lot of us, I'm going to be all inclusive here, give friends a hard time if we don't behave like each other. And actually, I don't think that's what's important. I think it's more, well, what's your love language, and how do you show your friend, how do you show your love for a friend more than anything else? But also accept that people are different, and it's that whole thing. So I know people who behave in not the most necessarily authentic way, but they've got loads of friends, and the friends know about that lack of authenticity and stuff. And I'm like, I guess you know what you can stomach as well. So know what you can stomach. No, personally, no. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I think you need to know your boundaries and know your levels, and go, even though I see this, that doesn't matter for me in a friendship, or I can cope with that in a friendship, or that's what they do in their professional life, so it doesn't really matter. But in the personal life, they're a different person. I don't know. Whatever it is, I think it's just trying to understand. And I also think that you should fight for friendships that matter.
Yeah, I think I understand that different people require different things from me, and I require different things from people. So like my group of like the 6 of us, 6 girls, like best friends, been friends since we were 16. In fact, they've been friends since they were much younger, our late arrival. But like sometimes we'll speak every day, sometimes we'll see each other like in quite quick succession, and other times it might be a couple of months of just being a bit quiet because everybody's got their own stuff going on in their life. But even when you're apart, that doesn't mean that you don't still love them and you don't still have those same feelings towards them. I definitely need to work on my boundaries within relationships, but also I do still think I could be better at friendships, networking, business relationships, and I think they all come under separate brackets, and I think that's what's easy to mix up, like what you were saying, Victoria, to EJ earlier about where do these relationships sit? Are they just business friends? Are they personal friends? Are they clients? And not letting them all get muddled up into this confusing mess.
Yeah. Let's not mix it. So I just want to say something before EJ jumps in. So we've had is it Ches? Sorry, I don't know what the name is, but Flying High with Ches. I said on Instagram. She says, oh wow, I needed this today. She says, being a woman of color, I feel like people just don't get me.
Aye. Chaz, are you trying to get us to start another hour of being the token black friend? Because I can lecture you on that. Hey, being the token, that's the reason why people want to be around you, is because they want to point to you as the black friend that they have.
Oh God, yeah, that whole sort of like fitting the quota of you have to have that black friend. Do you know what it is? Can I just say something on this? If you grow up in a different country, and Ches, I don't know if you did grow up in a different country, I think it's very difficult for people to understand, because friendship there is slightly different, isn't it? It's like it's just a different blend kind of thing and stuff. It's like loyalty still happens, we still hurt, we bleed, believe it or not, and stuff. But it's like I think here I find that most Africans are people who will pick up the phone and go, "How are you?"
Mm-hmm.
And when you say, "Oh, I'll see you later," even though in Africa, seeing you later could be in 3 weeks. In this country, when you say "see you later," they really think that "see you later" means like "see you later," like
later in the day.
And stuff. So there's that literal understanding, and I think the cultural difference is very different. She's laughing. She goes, "Wow, girls, no, I've always been around white people." Ah, okay. So that could, do you know what? Is that a black thing though, or is that a values thing? Is it that you've got different standards, which is not wrong, but then is it time to sort of like move away from the circle that you're in and find your people? And the good thing about social media now is there's loads of pockets of people who think just like you, who you can get to learn and stuff. I'm mixed race. I'm mixed race. My mum's white. My dad's a kit, and now I live in Scotland. Great.
Yeah. So I think there's a geographical thing there as well. Since I moved to this country about 17 years ago, I don't think I have any black friend, to be honest. I had one and we fell out. But I think there's a geographical element to it. And at first I was okay with it, to be honest with you. You know, so I was saying I'm not going to, like in the words of Michael Jackson, I'm not going to live my life being a color, was what I used to say. But then there's the cultural things that come into it. And for me, there were no black women around me because of my geographical location. But thank God for Facebook. I can join the Black women's group. I can join the Black people in Britain group. I can, just because it is important to have an awareness of what people like you, what the conversations are. And through those groups online, I have my online community of like-minded, like appearance type of thing, just for a cultural thing. But in terms of true meaningful friendship, I am like Martin Luther King, and I look forward to a world where our friendships will not be according to how we look. Hopefully,
Yeah.
one day, what color you are will not matter. One day. Unfortunately, we're not quite there yet.
Yeah. I do agree. I think it's finding your community.
Absolutely.
Rochelle, any guidance before we head off?
I can't think of anything wise to say. I think we've spoken before actually on another episode about colour and like being mixed race myself, feeling like, oh, you don't quite fit in with this group of people, but you also don't quite fit in up here, and finding where you belong. And obviously in Scotland, I think it is quite a predominantly white area, so if you're feeling like you're not fitting in with other people, like you said, it's about us finding our people, isn't it? And that's the great thing about social media, and you've got us to talk to. Send us a message.
Come and spend every Wednesday here. And you know, and if you've enjoyed this, then we're here every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. But yeah, I get it. I get it. I don't feel that I'm understood at all. And that's a whole different conversation. And so it's like I feel like I feel like I try and be palatable, but I'm definitely not palatable. And I'm not. I know I'm not and stuff. But yeah.
Get ready to see the real Victoria coming out.
I'm gonna have to go, ladies.
Yeah, so have we.
Bye.
Thanks so much, everybody. And we'll speak to you soon. Thanks for joining in, Ches. Take care.